Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reps and No Cool Music. Oh, what's going on? Is he gonna play uncool music like terrible techno or something? No, I just want to truly enjoy the silence. I just had a lot of sensory input today. I was visited some friend's place. Well, she's a cool friend and nice and all, but man, listen to a lot of loud, terrible techno music. But me, with my music brain, can find something interesting in all sorts of music. I'm looking for chord progressions and stuff I recognize. I think I heard a little bit of the chord progression from Slavonics March. At least a few notes in a techno song kind of matched that. But I don't bother taking the time to criticize what others listen to, so I just leave it as background noise, right? But on my way home, I just had a really long walk and listened to Beethoven Sixth. It was so lovely, and I'm like, I had a lot of errands today and things to catch up on. I had to catch up on cleaning. My place is squeaky clean and laundry is done and bed sheets are clean. Everything's clean. But I work out really hard every day. So I realized I should give my muscles a rest. And after being outside and walking, I realized, Beethoven Sixth was lovely. And I was just content being in my own company and just observing the world around me and walking in the late evening with the cool, crisp spring air. Spring is in the air. It's getting a bit warmer, but it's still cool, you know? Nice, cool air, just like in fall. And it's still dark in the evening when it's late enough. I think that was lovely. But after I was done listening to Beethoven Sixth, and I enjoyed it, I'm like, this is the greatest experience I had of Beethoven Sixth. I felt like I fell deeply in love with it more than ever so before, and I've listened to it several times. And then I realized after it was done that I heard overwhelming tinnitus, and I'm like, man, I listen to a lot of music. I should sometimes just listen to nothing. Absolutely nothing. Silence. Just observe the sounds that's in my surroundings because I live in the city. It's not ever like totally quiet, but it has been very quiet. But so I even heard like one of the neighbors singing a little bit when I had a break when I came home. So it's like, yeah, I just pick up the sounds and the sounds of the world, and you need that. We have electronics that can put an entire orchestra playing Beethoven in my ears anytime, or Dvorak or Mozart or whatever, like freaking orchestra, like being boom 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 bombarding my brain with sound waves. I think it's healthy to sometimes take a break from that, even though I love music. But I did take a break. I even went home, ate food, and just relaxed. I just sat and relaxed. No video games, no phone, not even reading. I just sat there. And it felt good. I'm like, oh god, this is true relaxation. I don't need any distractions. Then I relaxed enough and I'm like, play a little piano. The only music I'm allowed to hear is the music I play myself. Like, okay, I went through my sheet music. It was a sad, sobby blues song I never heard before. Why am I blue? Why am I... No, I don't remember the lyrics here, but I just look at the sheet music and play the notes and follow along and count the rhythm so I figure out how the melody goes. I haven't even memorized it. It's like I read the notes and I sing the lyrics like very, very quietly. Yeah, I started figuring out It wasn't that hard. And then I'm like, now I just wanna play some Beethoven, some Moonlight Sonata, and I did. And I felt really good. I'm like, the piano is an instrument of the soul, and I played really well. So it was like, yeah, it truly is the instrument of the soul. It's worth exploring. Of course, there are other art forms that humans express their emotions with, such as painting and sculpture, and so many beautiful things you can do. Anyway, it's time for me to stretch and read Stoicism. I could have stretched while I did that, but I don't know. I guess I just wanted a moment to reflect on total relaxation because stretching kind of hurts. But it seems like even in total relaxation, I am somewhat active because I relaxed in silence for a while. You see, there's light from the candelabra. And I also, while playing the piano, I thought about this. Because my candelabra, those candles are fake. They are electric. But they have that flickering effect that makes it look real. That creates the mood, you know? And then I think about it. So is my piano. It's fake. It's just a keyboard. I don't live in a big house or whatever. It's like my room doesn't even have room for a huge piano. So it's like, I have an electric keyboard, but it still has 88 keys, like a proper grand piano. But I realized my candlelight is electric, and so is my piano. I'm like, man. And then it makes me think. I wanna recreate the 1800s with modern technology. Considering how the Moonlight Sonata was at least first publicized by Beethoven in 1801. I want to bring back the past with modern technology. That's trippy, huh? Yeah, I like old-fashioned stuff. I like candelabras, I like pianos. Hopefully someday I'll live in a house with a piano. And then I put like real candlelight on top of the piano. Because candelabra near the wall on an electric keyboard sometimes might be some movement. If I play too intensely or something. And the candle at some point burned a little bit of the wall. That's why I stopped doing real candles. But one day on a real sturdy piano, I will. Okay. Now it's time for Stoic quote of March the 12th. Seeing things as the person at fault does. Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. For when you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage. For you may yourself have the same notions of good and evil, or similar ones, in which case you'll make an allowance for what they've done. But if you no longer hold the same notions, you'll be more readily gracious for their error. Man, I'm not reading well today. I have to do it once again, because this is training, trial and error. Okay, seeing things as a person at fault does. Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. For when you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage. For you may yourself have the same notions of good and evil, or similar ones, in which case you make an allowance for what they've done. But if you no longer hold the same notions, you'll be more readily gracious for their error. Marcus Aurelius' Meditation. Uh, Socrates, perhaps the wisest person to ever live, used to say that nobody does wrong willingly, meaning that no one is wrong on purpose either. Nobody thinks they're wrong even when they are. They think they're right, they're just mistaken. Otherwise, they wouldn't think it anymore. Could it be that the slights you've experienced or the harm others have done to you was not inflicted intentionally? What if they simply thought they were doing the right thing for them, even for you? It's like the memorial for Confederate soldiers at Arlington. Obviously, a cause that was wrongly fought for by people doing wrong, which states, in part, that the Confederate soldiers served in simple obedience to duty as they understood it. Again, they understood wrongly, but it was their genuine understanding, just as Lincoln was genuine when he ended his famous Cooper Union speech by saying, "Let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it." How much more tolerant and understanding would you be today if you could see the actions of other people as attempts to do the right thing? Whether you agree or not, how radically would this lens change your perspective on otherwise offensive or belligerent actions? Now I had enough stretching, so pull the feet slowly back. But yes, I've been thinking about this. No one thinks they're wrong. Not even I. Even though I am starting to observe my impulses, and I start to recognize which impulses are actually wrong. And my discipline and power of restraint makes me more capable of not acting on thoughts that are wrong. But there is one thought that was wrong that I willingly let get to me because it was so frustrating and it hurt my hand, and it's the problem with the lock on my door. It's like for some reason the key seems stuck, so it doesn't seem to really work, and I have to like wiggle around and figure it out, and sometimes even use force, and then eventually the door goes up. I was struggling so much earlier today, then I was like, PAM! Banged on the door with both of my fists. I know it doesn't help for a damn thing, but I'm like, I just whispered to myself, I needed that. I felt how stupid that was, but I'm like, I needed that. But I just call the landlord and complain about the lock that sometimes it gets stuck and it's really hard to open the door. So it's nothing to complain about. It's like that thing has no personal issue with me. The door has no personal issue with me. It's just a lock mechanism that may not be properly oiled or whatever. There's no point in getting upset over it. Even though it hurts my hand and it's a bit of a hassle to open the door and also lock the door when I leave the apartment, that just means I need to take care of it. It's nothing to get riled up about. But I haven't felt any anger in a long time. Several months I haven't expressed any anger. So that was the only little bit of anger I just needed to get out. Well, I did get out anger by screaming in a pillow and punching a pillow a few times when a friend let me down. So, but I still dealt with it rationally because I didn't yell at anyone, I didn't send any messages with anger expressed in it. So, that's good. I accept that I can be angry, and sometimes at things that do not make sense, like a door, but no one got hurt. That's the point. Be careful. Accept your emotions, but be careful on how you channel them. Ugh. Then it's easier to do right. And then understand that some people do not possess that same mindset. And they might do something they think is right, but it's wrong. But don't get mad about it. Life will get easier. And on that note, stay buff and have a nice evening. Good night.